Hello, I am back for our next video. So today we're starting two-step inequalities. So they're very similar to two-step equations, but you do the same thing with the inequality sign and then you graph it on a number line. So let's go ahead and tackle the first two examples. So at the top, again, I have your steps to solving two-step equations, or not equations, inequalities. So pretty similar. Step one, you gotta add or subtract. So remember, you gotta isolate that variable as much as you can, just like we did with one-step equations. So that's the first thing. You'll either add or subtract, and then multiply or divide to get x by itself. So if you kind of look at the first example, I have it written out, our steps of what we need to do. So our goal is to isolate the variable. So we need to move over that 1. And we do that by subtracting it from each side. So -1, -1. So these will cancel out. So you've got 2x is greater than 2. So it's that same process of, okay, well now we need to continue isolating the variable to get x by itself. We got to get rid of that 2. So since it's multiplying, we need to do the opposite. So we have to divide each side by 2. You'll see these two will cancel out. So you have x is greater than 1. So we're not going to graph this one on a number line because I just want to refresh your memory on how to solve. So, example number 2. Our first thing we have to do is move over that 4. So by doing that, we have to add. So +4 on both sides. These will cancel out. So you have 3x is less than or equal to 14 plus 4, which gives you 18. So then your last step is to get x by itself by dividing both sides by 3. So you have x is less than or equal to 6. So those would be your two answers for the first two examples. Then your next step would just be to graph them on a number line, but like I said, we're not doing it with these two examples, but we will for the remaining. All right, so for numbers 3 and 4. So our first step is we have to move over that 2. So we subtract 2 from both sides. So we have 3x, these cancel out, is less than 35 minus 2 gives us 33. Divide both sides by 3. So we have x is less than 11. So that's our inequality. So now we have to graph it on that number line. So let's start with 5. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we wrote out our numbers for our number line. Your next step is you're going to have your open circle at 11, and then you need to figure out which direction it goes. So is 0 less than 11? Yep, that's true. So you're going to head towards 0. So there's our number line. Number 4. Let's do that same process. We have to move over our 7. We do that by doing the inverse operation, so that's subtracting 7 from both sides. So these will cancel out. So we've got our 2x is less than or equal to 5 minus 7, which gives us -2. So now we got to get x by itself, so divide both sides by 2. So these 2's will cancel out. We have x is less than or equal to -1. Perfect. So now we got to graph it on a number line. So let's start with our 0 and do our positive numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our negatives, 1, -2, -3, -4. So we have our closed circle at -1, our closed circle at -1. And now we have to graph our line. Where is it going? So is 0 less than or equal to -1? Not quite. It's greater than. So we're going to go away from 0. So our line will be facing the negative numbers. All right, go ahead and flip to page 10. We've got 4 more problems that we'll do. They get a little more tricky as time goes on, just as a heads up. So first step, we have to move over that 15. So we do that by subtracting, because you're doing the opposite. These will cancel out, so we have 5x is less than -15. Divide both sides by 5 to get these to cancel out. So we have x is less than -3. So let's go ahead. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our positive numbers. Now our negative. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So we'll have an open circle at -3. Now we got to figure out which direction it goes. So it's plug in our 0. So 0 is less than -3. That is false. So we're going to point away from 0. And there goes our arrow. Alright, so that's number 5. Now we're jumping to number 8 because there's fantastic numbering on my lovely packet. So, we have to move over this 9. So a lot of people get confused, okay, well, do we add it or do we subtract it? Because there's not necessarily a sign in front of it. But keep in mind, this is a positive 9. So we need to subtract it because we want them to cancel out. So subtract 9 from each side. And these will cancel out. So we've got our 4t is less than or equal to 12. So now you have to divide both sides by 4 to get those to cancel out. So t is less than or equal to 3. So let's go ahead and put stuff on our number line. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our positives. And now our negatives. We got our -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So we put our closed circle, colored in at 3. And now we got to figure out which direction our line goes. So we have 0 is less than or equal to 3. Well, that's true. So you want to draw towards 0 and over 0. So we can include the numbers that are less than 3. And then lastly, well, not lastly, but number 9 is our next one. And these ones can be a little bit more tricky because there's a couple more steps you have to do. So, first things first, I'm the realist, but distribute that 3. We're going to do that. So we've got our 3t plus 3 plus 1. So because it's in parentheses, you're only distributing it to what's in parentheses. You will not distribute it to that 1 outside the parentheses. So now we need to combine like terms. So let's combine this 3 and this 1. So 3 plus 1 gives us 4. So we have 3t plus 4 is greater than -5. So now we need to move over that 4. So since it's a positive, we need to subtract 4 from both sides. So you get 3t is greater than -9. And then to get rid of your 3, you have to divide 3 on both sides. So t is greater than -3. So let's go ahead and put it on our number line. So let's do our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Alright, so we've got our open circle at 3. And then you've got 0 is greater than -3. That is true. So you're going to draw your arrow towards and over 0. So there's our answer. We've got one more problem left. One more left. So there's no distributing in this problem, but you still need to combine like terms. So we have our A and our 8A. That's going to give us 9. 9A minus 10 is greater than 20 minus A. So now I need to move over this 10. So I'm going to do that by adding 10 on both sides. So these will cancel out. So I've got 9A is greater than 30 minus A. Next step, I need to move over this A. So since it's a minus, you're going to add A to both sides. So we have 10A is greater than 30. We're not finished yet because we haven't isolated the variable. So we need to divide both sides by 10 to get those to cancel out. So we have A is greater than 3. I really love 3 today. So let's graph it on our number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So you got your open circle at 3, and then do your testing point. That is false. So you're going to go away from 3. And that is all for today. Go ahead and I'll check your booklet for 2 steps, but we will have another video involving that. So go ahead and get started on your assignments and ask if you have any questions. Bye!